Hello everyone. In this session, we want to take a look at managing IP blocks and ranges in IPAM. So here we have an IP address, for example, and then we have a range. And below that we have the whole chunk or the IP address block rather. So we have the block, and from the block, we can create a range again which corresponds to our scope or the ACP scope, and within that scope we have IP addresses. Now you can enter the IP addresses into IPAM manually, or if you have a file, then you can import those addresses into IPAM. We're going to take a look at how we manage IP address blocks and IP address ranges. We are now into the IPAM navigation pane, and in the upper IPAM navigation pane, we want to click on IP address blocks. In the lower pane, we want to right-click IP4 and then click Add IP Address Block. We're here now in the Add or Edit IP Address block. And what we want to do is in the network ID box, we're going to type a network ID. So we're going to type 10.0.0.0. And then for the prefix length, we're going to select 8. So we're going to click the down arrow and we're going to select 8. And this is the 8 that corresponds to the 24 notation subnet that is being dynamically allocated by the DHCP server. We want to click on OK. And then at the top of the pane here by current view, we want to click the down arrow and we want to select IP address blocks. And we can scroll down here and look at the configuration details. And we note that we have the IP address that's currently in use. We want to add an IP version 6 address block. So we want to right-click on IP version 6, click on Add IP Address. In the specify network ID, we want to type a network ID and we're going to use the keyboard to do so. So we're going to type 21. Let's make sure and click in the box. We have to click in the box first. Let's go again. 21 FA colon D3 colon 0 colon 2F3B 2F3B, and then we want to type 2 colons. The next thing we want to do is to choose the prefix length. And to do that, we're going to slide the slider over. We want our prefix length to be 64, so we want to slide it over to 64. And then we want to click on OK. In the current view section, we want to click the down arrow and we want to click on IP address blocks. And we can see that we have the IP address block coming in. We're going to try adding some IP address ranges for the IP4 network. So we're going to right click on IP4. I'm going to click on Add IP Address Range. And for the ID, we're going to type 192.168.0.128. For the prefix length, we're going to choose 25, and the 25 came in as we clicked inside the box. And we can see we have our subnet mask also. Let's scroll down the screen and look at some of the other properties for the range that we can choose. Managed by the IPAM service. The assignment type is static. We can enable network virtualization. We can define other configurations. For the WINS and DNS servers, we can add those here, as you can see. You can add DNS search suffixes, connection-specific DNS, and lots of other information, gateway IP address and metrics. So these are the properties that you can add to the IP range. You have your reservations. You can add your reservations. You can remove your reservations. So there are lots of changes that we can make here on the address property screen if we are adding the IP address range. Under the IP range setting here, we can click on task and we can click on export, and we can actually give a name and a location where we want to save that file. So for example, we might type IP addresses for the file name. And we can save that file. It's going to be saved as a CSV file. So we want to click on save. Once that file has been saved, what we can do is to right click on IP4 and we can say import IP address. So we have the import IP address range, or we can use the import IP address. So almost anything that you can do on your DHCP server, you can do the same task in IPAM. The only difference is that we're doing it centrally, which means that we're doing it for a number of DHCP servers within our organization, or a number of DNS servers within our organization. You might want to take a look at required reading within this session, which will take you through the creation, adding, deleting of IP addresses, IP blocks within IPAM. In this session, we took a look at how we would add an IP block, how we would add an IP address range. We looked at the properties and we saw that we could do the same thing we would do on a single DHCP server. You can add reservations, you can add exclusions, you can make changes, everything that you can do on the DHCP server, except you're going to be doing all of those things for a number of managed servers, whether they be DHCP or whether you are looking at managing DNS server. This is the end of our session on managing IP addresses and ranges. I want to thank you for listening.